What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about ChargePoint. They do have their earnings coming up. I want to go over some of the current estimates and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So ChargePoint right now is down 6.44%, 60 cents the low, 66 cents the high. So a lot of volatility, but in general, ChargePoint is in a very difficult scenario. So as of their earnings, which is coming up tomorrow after hours, negative 8 cents for the earnings per share is the estimate, 100.99 million for the revenue. And over the last 90 days, you have 1 positive and 5 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So last earnings, I did state that the bar was set so low for them that it was actually hard for them not to beat it. And they actually did beat. They came in line with the earnings per share. They did beat on the revenue, but their future guidance did bomb. So that's what caused it to go up briefly. But of course, shorts with no big money really buying it because of the lack of future guidance, it did regrettably go down. So this time around, though, it is different because the bar is still set relatively low, but their future guidance, it's going to be a duplicate of last earnings. There isn't going to be any real good things that management is going to say that's coming for 2025. So potentially you are going to see a very swift pullback, and this is going to be the very first earnings that they're going into where they are deficient with the New York Stock Exchange. So I've been stating this for a very long time now that they are going to be needing to do a reverse stock split. And if they do get to, I would say roughly around that 40-cent range, just based on the mere infrastructure that they do have, they could be a potential takeover. But in general, I think there has to be more developments coming from a administrative standpoint. So Trump, because just EVs are going to struggle and most likely will continue to struggle unless they already got their crap together. And ChargePoint, it definitely hasn't whatsoever. So these are some of the current estimates as far as that goes. What analysts are saying going into their upcoming earnings, I'll give you a quick overview of that and then go over some of the data points. So the last rating did come out 11 days ago. It was a 75-cent sell. Goldman Sachs, Marku has a 61% success rating, but as a consensus, you have $1.61, the price target, and that does represent a 158.43% upside. So ultimately, not all that great. As far as this goes, the implied move for their earnings is 23.88%. So ultimately, like a 20-cent move in either direction is anticipated. And historically, there's about a 60% likelihood of them missing on their earnings, at least what the market sees as a overall miss. A lot of that does stem from just lack of future guidance, like I said. So in my opinion, I think just shorts being all over ChargePoint is going to eventually be the demise of them. And one thing that will be coming out momentarily, I'd say over the next couple of weeks, they'll probably allude to it during the actual earnings itself, but a upcoming shareholder meeting. So preliminary 14A. So you'll see a lot of things being proposed. One most likely will be a reverse stock split, and then coupling that with a raising of the authorized share count. So I think ChargePoint is just in a very, very difficult scenario, and honestly, opportunity cost is really kicking in that nobody really wants to buy ChargePoint. There's a lot of better deals out there that already have their stuff together and isn't kind of all shambled up essentially. But even right now, no big money is buying the ChargePoint dip, where it's pretty much close to the 52-week and all-time low. And then even on the dark pool, you're seeing very few transactions. So surprisingly enough, no transactions above $100,000 on the dark pool. So even in that regard, people can't really say it's being overly manipulated because it's not. Right now, shorts are increasing 187,000 shares. 29.52% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 120.64 million shares overall are being shorted. So it's like I said, it is what it is. The writing's been on the wall for a very long time. Looking at the options though, I'll give you a quick overview of that. So ChargePoint options, roughly 18,000 in calls, 8,300 in puts, 49% of all the options being done today are optimistic in nature. And of the call options, it looks like there's a consensus for it to be above roughly $1. I'm not really sure why ChargePoint still does have weekly options because it's not all that popular, as you can kind of tell. There's a lot of other stocks that oddly are more popular and they don't even have weekly options. So I feel like that is going to change very, very soon, post reverse stock split, unannounced reverse stock split yet. That will obviously change the dynamic of the options as well. But like I said, I think just even though the bar is set very, very low, you could see a little bit of upside. It might play out exactly the same as last year or last quarter, where it's just going to regrettably just get dragged down by shorts and just lack of institutions really buying it. With it right now at 62 and change, if you are wanting to trade it, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 57 cents will be a strong support. 73 will be that next strong target / resistance point. And as far as right now on the actual chart, honestly, I'm not going to waste your time. There's not really much to bring up. It is a slow bleed of a downtrend below all the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic RSI is somewhat neutral as well. So there's not really much or any positives to bring up about ChargePoint right now. The only thing investors can kind of hope for, honestly, is a takeover, as I've kind of alluded to in previous videos. So let me know your thoughts on ChargePoint. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Like, what's your kind of 2 cents on all this? And do you think that under any circumstances that ChargePoint can survive under a, for instance, Trump administration? So let me know your viewpoint. One thing I do want to bring up though, this is the previous results. So as I mentioned last quarter, the bar was set so low that it was easy for them to beat, because Q2 2025 was 113.48 million. That was a consensus. And then the Q3 2025 was 89.58 million. So the bar was just massively so low, came in at 99.61, so a beat of 10 million. So caused a little bit of a bump up because of that. But like I said, it's all going to come down to the future guidance. That's not just with ChargePoint, but pretty much across the board. So let me know your thoughts. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.